All right, people. So, our first and only review of the day is going to be for Spider Noir. Spider Noir is a TV show there following the adventures of Ben Riley there, who's an alternate version of Peter Parker there,
Mhm.
who is in the noir type universe there of this in the it's 1940s there that they're in, or 30s actually,
Mhm.
1930s, you have this in. Now, people might be familiar with a little bit with the Spider Noir character from the Spider Verse films, but this is not the same character
Mhm.
of the Spider Verse films with that same who was voiced by Nicolas Cage in that. So this is not the same character at all. This is a different version of the character, but
Mhm.
you have Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage still playing.
I think they couldn't call, him Peter Parker in this because of the rights issues with Spider-Man and, Marvel. It's all messy, so they used Ben Riley, who in the comics was, Peter's clone.
Yeah, so it's like another version of Peter Parker. So you had that. So that's you had that kind of issue there. So in this version of the character here, private investigator, like I said, 1930s is in New York there because Spider-Man's got to be in New York. With that there, and he's dealing with it's classic noir storytelling where he has like gangsters there that he's fighting against. He's also fighting against corrupt people within the government of New York there with the mayor. You also have the situation where he has a femme fatale there in this as well, where he's competing
Mhm.
against. We also see like he doesn't have a Mary Jane, but he had a woman in his life that
Mhm.
he loved and he married that died. But now he's trying to move on with that there, and he's getting called. Who in this version you have a Cat Hardy, who's the femme
Mhm.
fatale version. He's played by Lee Jun Lee there, who people might know. She was Grace in Sinners there. She was in that there. She's the one that let all the vampires in. People still mad about that. And then also there, you have that. So it's kind of a different kind of look we have with the
Mhm.
character. It interests me a lot because this is also in black and white. People have a choice. You can see it
Mhm.
either in black and white or in color. What did you end up doing?
I kind of went back and forth between episodes. Started the first one in black and white and, watched a couple of them in color, which it's kind of ironic because both versions of this, I think, look really good. It's like the black and white, I think it's like better to watch. It like has more of that kind of film noir feel to it. Kind of hides a lot of the imperfections that come with the show with its CGI, but the full color version, I'm surprised how like vibrant the color palette is. We always complain about superheroes and comics book stuff nowadays like not having like any kind of color to it, all of them kind of like being shot in this like very bleak grayscale, and like this is the exception. This show looks fantastic in both versions.
Mm. I think I'm gonna watch it all in black and white and then go back
Mhm.
watch it all again in color. I
Mhm.
think. I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing with it. I heard there's like certain episodes maybe are better for color if
Mhm.
you watch it in that. But yeah, but the swinging in it, like there's some swinging scenes in here that look really good. That are
Mm.
best, even I think look as good as even in the movies, or even better. I think in some aspects of that. And a lot of big thing about this is also you have the classic kind of Spider-Man Rogues Gallery in this. And this is also he's not called Spider-Man, he's called just the Spider. That's
Yeah,
what he's
that's
called.
a rights thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's just that's what they had to
Yeah,
do.
I think it's on one hand, it could be like this is like a different interpretation. I think he might have went by the spider in the Spider Noir comics, but that also could just be a rights thing.
Okay, gotcha. So he's just in this, he's just called the Spider there, and then he has like a rogues gallery there. Like I mentioned, like even there's some characters you might be familiar with, like Cat Hardy is Black Cat in the
Mhm.
main Spider-Man kind of universe there. But you also have versions of like, for example, Tombstone there. You got a versions of Sandman. You have versions of Electro there as
Mhm.
well in this. So you have like different kind of versions of those kind of villain characters in this. But Nick, what are your thoughts, man, on Spider Noir?
Yeah, I was going into this kind of like intrigued, very curious that we're getting Nicolas Cage finally get to play Spider Noir in live action, and you know I was kind of taken by that. This is like a very fun, very kind of cool throwback to like those classic film noir days. Nicolas Cage as much as like I think people flack on him for a lot of his choices as an actor, I really dug his performance in this, in all of the various shenanigans he gets, both as the Spider and also as just Ben Riley, the private investigator. Because he some of my favorite moments in this are like when he's just doing his thing as as a detective. And also I think really love Lee Jun Lee's performance in this. I feel like she perfectly captures that femme fatale. I really dug her dynamic with Ben Riley, especially as the show goes on. And also, I think the unsung hero of this is Brendan Gleeson, who kind of feels like very overqualified for this as Silvermane, the main villain of the show.
Yeah, he's the Irish mobster there in
Mhm,
this, and Brendan Gleeson always fantastic in everything
mhm,
he's ever in. Really love his work there with that. But yeah, he's in this, and he's kind of one of the main antagonists of the show
mhm,
there, and kind of what he's trying to do. Yeah, loved every scene he was in. And he really commands the screen. It almost reminded me like Vincent D'Onofrio, what he did kind of Kingpin there, of
mhm,
like you don't know what this guy's gonna do. Like, is he gonna, be friendly with you? Is he gonna kill you? Every moment is just like very tense with him, and I love that in it. And I forgot to mention Lamorne Morris there, who plays Robbie Robertson in this, who's working at the Daily Planet there in this version of this world.
mhm,
And people might know him. He was in New Girl. He was in that show there. I liked his character quite a bit, a lot there, and
mhm,
what he kind of had to do. And he does a lot of kind of investigating too. So he has kind of almost like another like B plot in the show where
mhm,
he's investigating all these people that are popping up with these abilities. Because these characters that we see, Sandman, Electro, everything like that, these are kind of the first time the characters even in the world are seeing them.
mhm,
And at the first, we see that we're kind of told a little bit about this world, that the Spider is the only person that's they've seen with powers or abilities. So it's
mhm,
kind of like this big thing, like, oh, there's new people on the block now that can have special abilities. And so we see a storyline with him where it's kind of going down this rabbit hole of, why do these people have these abilities? What's kind of going
mhm,
with them? And then it turns into something else about, the war and them being experimented on. And even Nicolas Cage's character, who did fight in World War I, how he's kind of connected to some of them. Did you
mhm.
think it was a little too much of a coincidence that all of them were kind of connected in some way together? Or you think that was fine? You think?
No, that was fine to me. With high concept stuff when it comes to like the origins of how a lot of the situation came, I found it's better to like go simpler and just that all of these like superpowered people, they were like all in the same platoon during World War I that got captured and experimented on.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's fine. It's a quick shorthand kind of thing,
Mhm.
like whatever. I mean, you don't have to explain like,
Yeah, it's like
how.
the how of how they got their powers is always less interesting than like who are they after and before.
Yeah. And like Tombstone in this, who I think in most versions has been portrayed as black, I think in kind of maybe most
Yeah,
versions
I
there.
think I think since Spectacular Spider-Man where he was voiced by I think Keith David. It
Okay.
was either Keith David or Kevin Michael Richardson that did the voice on him.
Mm. And he's
He's been portrayed as black and since like Friendly Neighborhood he's kind of taken on more of an anti-hero role.
mm, and Lonnie Lincoln is the character there.
Mhm.
He's played by Abraham Popula there. And yeah, and he's also going to be in Brand New Day. It's going to be portrayed by the actor who was in Black Lightning. That guy.
The like basically the live action Uncle Ruckus from Black Lightning.
Yeah. I was like, there's a good montage if somebody want to look up of best insults of that guy
you
from.
you big lick bug-eyed nappy-headed Nimrod. It's like
Jeez, I mean, yeah, this is a whole compilation there. I mean, I watched Black Lightning just primarily just to see what he would say in every episode, but yeah, he's gonna be in it. But they just say he won't be in it that much. But I was like,
Mhm,
of course somebody's like, of course he's not gonna be in that much. Because what if they introduce Miles Morales? They can't have him there, you know. Um, but yeah, so he's there, and it kind of gets into things about with his character, him being
mhm,
black, and the fact that obviously kind of gets into more like Tuskegee experiment type of thing of his
mhm,
character, and him being experimented on, how he was kind of really left behind and he didn't really have a whole lot coming back from the war. And even though he served his country there, some people I saw that saying like, it's funny because we talked about in I think when we reviewed Batman Cape Crusader, because that's also
Mhm,
set during the past, but it's another like alternate type thing, obviously, because it's
mhm,
Batman and everything, where they don't really address or reference the fact that Harley Quinn in that version is lesbian. Well, actually, she's just
mhm.
lesbian in all versions mainly, but
Yeah.
she's lesbian in that. They seem not to really reference it or talk about it. But in this, it being set in the 30s, there they do bring up that race is not like just this like nobody's colorblind. It seems like they do address the
Mhm,
fact that Robbie Robinson is black. They do address the fact that, Lincoln Tombstone is black and how that kind of plays a
mhm.
role in things there. Did you like that or did you not like that in the show?
Mm, yeah, with animation, I feel like there's this kind of separation from reality that just doesn't exist in live action. So with live action, I felt like it was an element that I like that it was included on, but I like that it's not the focus of Lonnie Lincoln's story in this or Robbie's.
Mm. It's not the focus of it for sure.
Mhm.
But it is integrated in the fact
It
that
it's an element that it would have been weird if it wasn't included in a Spider-Man show set in the 30s.
Yeah, because you see with Robertson that so he's working at the Daily Planet. He's like their Peter Parker there, and he's
Mhm,
taking the photos of all these superpowered people, and he's got that. But then also like you see his role regulated like after the Spider retired, because we see this
mhm,
like he's in the beginning of the show that the Spider retired there,
mhm.
that he's been like he doesn't even have a desk anymore. He doesn't have an office anymore. You know what I mean? He's just a nobody now at that place. He's like, well, hey, if you keep, kind of living these photos, all these freaks with these powers, then maybe you'll get up there. And you can see his just role is just super diminished there
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
super small that he doesn't
and
have the
that's
prestige there.
yeah, and that speaks more to, his and Ben's relationship because at the start of the series, Robbie knows that, Ben is the Spider, but he is keeping that secret out of loyalty for his friend. And, he could easily just, like, spill the beans and get his job back.
Yeah. But it's good. I like his story. Yeah, like I said,
Mhm,
that could be a show within itself, just him of what he's doing and what he's kind of got going on there, with that. And Nicolas Cage, you mentioned. I mean, Nicolas Cage. People also want to see just because, hey, it's Nicolas Cage. I mean, we got to see more
it's
crazy shit that
It's
Nicolas Cage
Nicolas
does.
Cage getting to act a fool, which he does, and even in, like, interviews, it's like he kind of took on this role as, like, a spider pretending to be human, which there's a moment, I think, in, like, either episode, uh, 5 or 6 where it's a flashback to how he first got his powers that is if you wanted some cageisms, you get your fill in that.
Very something like Vampire's Kiss, kind of a little bit like that, where he when he gets reacted to, after being bit by and he gets bit by like a human man
He gets
spider.
bit by man spider.
And that's a great kind of thing there. That really works. But yeah, so you see him kind of doing all his cageisms with that, and him kind of, I mean, Nicolas Cage never leaves anything, what I mean, back. He goes full force. And that's why people love him with that there. I mean, it broke Abed there trying to do that. So um I absolutely kind of loved him there with that. And he described his performance as like Humphrey Bogart meets Bugs Bunny. That's how he kind of described it. He's kind of even putting on like a voice there, kind of like Humphrey Bogart, a little bit of like that classic kind of actor kind of voice that you have of that time period. With that. So I thought that really kind of worked for the character and what he was doing. And just like the whole kind of noir setting period of him being a private detective, him having his own assistant there. I think that really worked really well. I like how in every version, every universe, no matter which Peter Parker, he's always gonna be broke. Always, always gonna be just a broke
Yeah,
motherfucker. Always.
he's a character that is, especially in this kind of film noir world where everyone is kind of out for themselves and for the almighty dollar. It's like it speaks to who Ben is and how the show really understands Spider-Man and that he'll turn down the paycheck if it means doing the right thing.
Yeah. It's opportunities where, he kind of goes like he gets more money, but he's like, no, I'm gonna do the right thing there. Much at the chagrin of his assistant, because like, damn, we need money. Like we can't we can't
It's
just
like you haven't paid me in weeks.
You know what I mean? Rent is $5. How am I gonna make that? You know what I mean? You need to pay me. So yeah, so I like that a lot. The dynamic also between him and his assistant is really good too. Who's that actress? You remember her name there?
I don't remember the actress's name, but yeah, she's a great foil to him. And there's a reveal, I think, at the penultimate episode between them and their relationship that I think is like there isn't a lot of just flat out comedic beats in this show, but that is one that had me dying laughing.
Karen Rodriguez,
Mhm,
played by Janet Ruiz is the character, and then Karen Rodriguez is the actor there. Very good stuff there. And then even like I said, the villain stories are very sympathetic. Like
mhm,
Flint Marco, who's the Sandman, who's played by Jack Houston, who people might know. He was in Boardwalk Empire. He was the dude with half a
mhm,
face in Boardwalk Empire. There, good actor there. And he has a very good sympathetic
mhm.
part in it as well. There.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, if I had one critique, his character in Cat Hardy, they're supposed to be like this star-crossed lovers, and like the whole reason that Cat starts working with Ben. I didn't really buy their scenes together. That's like the one criticism I would have about this.
okay, interesting there. Any other criticisms you have with it?
Whoever the guy was playing Megawatt, it takes a lot to out cage Nick Cage.
Mm. He kind of reminded me, you know, that comedian Tim Dillon?
Oh,
Uh, he kinda reminded me a lot of Tim Dillon, I think, a lot of him, just like the way he kinda was. I don't know, maybe just another fat white guy, but I don't know, he kinda reminded me a little bit of, Tim Dillon and kinda how he would sound there. But the actor is Andrew Caldwell, there. I'm looking at I don't really know anything he's from
mhm.
there. Oh, he was in Matrix Resurrections, he was in that
Oh,
there. And then okay, so I'm just looking at it, but yeah, so he kinda works kinda well there. He's the Electro Megawatt, he's like the Electro of the
mhm,
Rogues Gallery there. But this is I mean, and this is 8 episodes. Each episode's about 40 so minutes.
mhm.
There I think this really works a lot, man. I do you want a season 2? I want a season 2 of this.
Yeah, I'm 100% down for a season 2, especially where, we leave off the story. We kind of wrap up, the Silvermane arc, but there's still so much more that you could tell with this world and with the rogues gallery of Spider-Man set in this universe. I'm very intrigued. I'd love to see more of, Nicolas Cage in this role, see more of what they do, with this.
Mm. Do you wanna see some other spinoffs there of, like, the Spider-Verse? I know they're doing one with Gwen Stacy, right? They're doing, like, an animated
Mhm.
movie or
Yeah, I
show?
I I think yeah, I think an animated Spider-Gwen movie was been in development hell for a while. I think they've talked about doing, like, something with Silk, something with the Clone Saga of Ben Riley, but,
Mm.
I think we're gonna get a lot more announcements of that after Brand New Day comes out.
Mm, okay. More Spider-Man for everybody. Some his
Mhm,
Spider-Man for everybody there. Because yeah, Ben Riley is part of the Clone Saga there. And
mhm.
you mentioned Silk. Yeah, I think I heard they were going to do something with Silk in that there. Yeah. So, but I definitely want to see more of this. What will be your rating for this show?
Yeah, I had a damn good time with this. As somebody who was kind of feeling the void of like great comic TV after Invincible and The Boys and Daredevil, all of those shows wrapped. This kind of felt like a nice change of pace with its kind of noir look and feel to it in its storytelling. I dug the hell out of this. Like I said, I the only real criticism I have of it is some of the acting choices, especially from the guy playing Megawatt. It felt a little distracting seeing somebody trying to excuse me, out cage Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nick's Cage doing a lot too. He was drinking a lot. He was doing a lot of burping too. Yeah, he was knocking back them drinks there in this. Yeah, alcoholic. I mean, that comes with the territory. Private detective. You got to be an alcoholic, just like being a writer. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole like clip circulating online is like because of course Janet finds out he is the spider, but he are but he already told her it's just a montage of Ben shit faced like doing Spider-Man shit in his office.
Oh wow. But I'm sorry. Would you give it a peak? You said or
I wouldn't quite go peak. I'd say this is a great stream it.
stream
There's
it? Okay.
just this no, great tune in, excuse me.
Okay.
Um, there's just something about this where I kind of wish we got more of the kind of jumping around in tones because at one point this is like a detective story, it's like a fun superhero action. At one point it's science fiction horror, which I kind of wish we got a little bit more of, especially with the black and white cinematography.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I would give it a great tune in as well, bordering on a peak. I think Nicolas Cage is perfect for this. I think he fits really well with this. I guess that's would be tough trying to get him back to do it. I
Mhm,
mean, as far as like money wise, can you do that? But I think this show looks really good there. I saw it in the black and white version, so I don't know if seeing it in the color version, people will notice more imperfections with it. As far as like some of the effects, I was like, it didn't look that good. But I thought the swinging sequences looked really good. I thought, yeah, the Sandman stuff looked really good there with that. Um, and they do a thing in this where, for the most part, the guys who have the powers, they can't really control their powers, and is
mhm,
actually somewhat killing them there, and it's kind of mutating them in dangerous ways. And that Ben Riley, he's the only kind of perfect mutation of it, of like this thing that they were trying to do.
mhm,
Basically, like a lot of stuff in Marvel, they were trying to create the super soldier program. They were trying to like recreate that kind of thing with that. But I think, yeah, that looks kind of good there. And yeah, I think like I said, I'm gonna watch this. I'm watching it in black and white. I watched it in black and white. I'm gonna watch it again in color because even watching this trailer in color, like, oh yeah, I definitely want to
mhm,
go back and watch it again there for that. But there's a lot of great stuff in this, great actors. I definitely give it a high tune in board and on a peak there for Spider Noir there. Definitely want to see a season 2 of this
mhm.
and see how they do it. Um, very good stuff there. So yeah, that was everything there. And that was our thoughts on Spider Noir.